What's going on, basketball fans? Welcome back to another episode of NBA Talk. And I wasn't planning on making this video right now, but that's why I'm going to make this a YouTube exclusive. But this is breaking news right now. DeMarre Carroll was just traded from the Toronto Raptors to the Brooklyn Nets, along with a first round pick and a second round 2018 pick for Justin Hamilton. Now, the reason why I'm making this video is mostly because I am a Raptors fan, and I thought it'd be great for me to give my thoughts and opinions on this trade. So first of all, this trade honestly caught me off guard because I didn't expect the Raptors to make a move like this so drastically, because they're an organization that tends to make moves very quietly, or tend to wait for the right moment. And I guess Masai Ujiri thought this was the right moment, as he pulled the trigger and he let go of DeMarre Carroll. Now, as a fan, I have a lot of questions in my mind, mostly because I was a fan of DeMarre Carroll, and I know DeMarre Carroll's got a ton of hatred, mostly because of his play over the last couple of seasons. But let's be honest here. Let's look at this logically. He comes to Toronto, he gets injured. That's not his fault. I mean, we can't fault the dude if he gets injured. Now, what did he have? A severe knee injury. Knee injuries aren't the easiest to come back from, and especially 100%. Like, it's noted that after a knee injury, knee surgery, you don't ever come back as the same player. Look at Derrick Rose. He had multiple knee surgeries, and now he's a shell of the former player that he used to be. So, for DeMarre Carroll, it's kind of unfair to judge him, because he didn't deserve that hate. He didn't deserve to be put in that situation, because it wasn't his fault that he got injured. I mean, it happened. It's a contact sport. But at the same time, that forced him to, be out for the first year. He didn't play as well. And throughout the season, he stayed relatively healthy, but he started to, he was still taking off the rust. He was still trying to be effective. And I really thought as a fan, I was going to give him one more year to prove that if he's really going to become the player that he used to be in Atlanta, because that's what Toronto signed in the 2015 NBA offseason. That's what Toronto signed. They were signed for the Atlanta Hawks DeMarre Carroll, the defender, the stopper, the three-point shooter. That's who they wanted. And since DeMarre's been in Toronto, he hasn't been able to do that. And honestly, I thought the Raptors kind of rushed into trading him, because I felt that he wasn't given a fair shot. Now, I would be saying this, and this would be primarily accurate, if the Raptors traded him from a playing perspective, as my phone goes off again. So, that's not the case. It's not that the Raptors felt that DeMarre wasn't a good player. It's that they needed to shed some salary. Now, that's the big reason behind the whole thing. Because the Raptors were in a bad situation, as my phone is going off constantly. Let me just turn that off. Okay, so the Raptors are in a really bad situation. Why? Because they just spent a lot of their cap space in order to re-sign Kyle Lowry and DeMar DeRozan. Now, they had to make the decision. Do they want to pay the luxury tax, or do you need to trade either one of Corey Joseph, DeMarre Carroll, or Jonas Valanciunas? One of those players has to go in order to dump the necessary salary to get the Raptors under the cap, because they still need to sign more players, but they don't have enough money to do so. So now they're in a situation where they had to choose who can they dump and get the best possible return out of. And DeMarre Carroll, since he had the biggest contract out of the three, it financially made sense, as now the Raptors are now $3 million underneath paying the luxury tax, which means their goal is basically accomplished, where they basically got rid of a big contract and got under the luxury tax. That's exactly what the Raptors did with this deal. Now, one of the things I didn't like about the way the trade went down was the price that the Raptors had to pay to get rid of DeMarre Carroll. because they had to pay not one pick but 2 picks, a first round and a second round pick to the Brooklyn Nets. And I know the Brooklyn Nets need all the picks that they can get, but come on, like, is this the best you can do for DeMarre Carroll? I mean, straight up, if you're dumping a salary, you should be going to just flip him for picks. You shouldn't be getting just Justin Hamilton back. So from that point of view, I thought the Raptors really just overpaid. But at the same time, I kind of understand it because Brooklyn is taking on a big contract, and they're in a situation where they're now vulnerable. They're in a situation where they know teams are trying to fleece them. So they're being very precautious, and they're really being, protective with their assets. And they just gained some more out of this. So I think from the Brooklyn Nets, I think they're getting a quality piece in Carroll. They're getting draft picks as well. So they got a great package in the deal. Now back to Toronto, because that's really the main focal point of this video. Now Toronto is in this situation now where they basically lost their 3 best defenders from the previous season this offseason. They lost PJ Tucker, they lost Patrick Patterson, and now they lost DeMarre Carroll. So they basically lost a ton of 3-point shooting, and they also lost a ton of defense. Now the Raptor fan, this is very concerning to me, as right now, through the current landscape of the free agency market, there isn't a lot of wing players who can be quality defenders right now. There isn't enough players who I can honestly say will make as big of an impact as those 3 guys would make on this team. And that is concerning, because what was the Raptors really leaned upon their defense when their offense wasn't going well for them. They were a top 5 offense and a top 10 defense when Serge Ibaka and PJ Tucker got there. So those are big deals for a team to do that. And if the Raptors are anything less than that, that's a sign of a regression for a team that just signed Lowry and Ibaka to big deals in order to convince them on the fact that, hey, we're trying to win here. But if you're taking a step back, you're not really pushing that idea to those guys. So in that perspective, I'm very concerned as a fan. Now, personally, if I'm the Raptors now that I've made this move and got rid of Carroll, my goal is to get a wing defender. You need to get someone quality, and the guy who I have my eye on is Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. He was just deemed an unrestricted free agent by the Detroit Pistons when they pulled their qualifying offer because they traded for Avery Bradley. Now the Raptors still have money. They have the mid-level exception that they can do to sign an extra player. So they have that, but they also need to extend Norman Powell. So in my opinion, if the best case scenario for me is if the Raptors sign KCP and bring him to Toronto, or you sign and trade with Detroit or any other team. You just sign and trade and get KCP to Toronto. If personally I would do this on a 1-year deal, I would think KCP needs to prove his worth and try free agency again next year. I think that's probably the best move in this case. But if the Raptors can get KCP, you're basically recouping the value that you lost in DeMarre Carroll, because now you're gaining the 3-point shooting. Not only is KCP younger than Carroll, but he's also more healthier, so he's also able to be a lockdown defender for the Raptors, who they desperately need at this point with the losses that they just occurred. So in my opinion, best case scenario is get KCP. Another guy on my list is probably CJ Miles. He's more of a guy who brings in that 3-point shooting. He's a guy who can fit the modern NBA, and he's another area that the Raptors really need now that they lost the Tucker, Patterson, and Carroll. So those are 2 names that I think the Raptors should potentially look at. But overall, as a Raptor fan, this was very surprising. This is something that honestly is very concerning now as a fan base. But if we've learned anything over the past few years, it's that Masai Ujiri always knows what's best. He knows how to run a team, and let's just hope that he knows what he's doing and he can make good of this situation. Anyways, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the little quick video. I just thought, literally, these are just my first thoughts. Woj just tweeted this out 20 minutes ago, so yeah, we're gonna see what happens with this, man. But hope you guys enjoyed it. Leave a like, subscribe on the YouTube channel, also follow on the podcast. Links in the description down below, and follow me on social media. You guys know what to do. And as always, I'm Hani from NBA Talk, and I'll see you all in the next episode of NBA Talk. Thank you all so much for watching.